In 1 minute, I want you to first, as we enter this session, describe your scar to shine journey. What's your scar moment? Because while the other panels were going on, there is one carcass at the back there that kept saying, all these stories are not scar enough. Some people think that if you've not suffered to a certain point, you don't have a scar story. So tell us, what was your scar moments at the start of the journey in the industry? Let's start from Mrs. Aigbe.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Mic check.
Check, 1, 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. First off, it's such an honor to be here. This is still my mic. Okay, so I was saying that it's really an honor to be here, speaking at this event. And I want to say a very big thank you to Emiralty. This is very thoughtful. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for putting this together. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much. So, scar to shine. When you think about it, scar to shine. Honestly, if you ask me, I'll say that the theme of today's event is very powerful. Because the scars that challenges us the most actually eventually becomes what shape us. Most times, the scars that we're trying to hide becomes our strength, becomes our growth, and even our purpose. I have so many stories to share with you guys, because obviously to shine is not easy. There will be a lot of hurdles, there will be a lot of challenges, trust me. You're looking at Mercy, all dressed up, all beautiful, look, here with you. But to God be the glory, to God be the glory. It wasn't easy at the beginning. I have lots of stories to share, but I'm just going to share one because of time constraints. Okay, so the creative industry is very beautiful, but also very demanding. I will share this story. I think I've mentioned it once or twice, but I'm just going to share it for the benefit of you all that are here, so that we can learn. This platform is for us to learn, relearn, teach, and encourage each other, and motivate each other. So, several years ago, I was on the set of a movie titled Akukoija. I don't know if any one of you got to see that film, produced by Wenimo Olupo. Did anybody watch Akukoija? So it's a film that had myself and Femi Branch wear the same lace, and there was a hair. So when we were filming, one of my colleagues was in a hurry. I was like, Shike, I have to go. He wanted to go to another set. And then I said, Uncle Yomi, it was Uncle Yomi fashion. So I was like, Uncle Yomi, low. He said, he has to get to another set. He has to leave. I said, which set are you going? And then he mentioned the title of the film. And I was like, I'm supposed to be in that film now. The production manager called me, the producer called me, and they even told me the role I was going to play. They sent me a script, but nobody got back to me. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I picked up my phone and called the producer, who happened to be my friend. I was like, Baboni, what's up now? Where I'm filming, Uncle Yomi is saying he's coming to your set. I think I started filming. Oh, I don't jump. Let me reverse. So when I called her and she picked the phone, I was like, hi babe, what's up? This is Mercy. The first thing she said is, who is Mercy? Tani Mercy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Sure, okay, it's Mercy now. And she was like, I don't have time. You better introduce yourself I know is Mercy Johnson, as an actress and all that. I should have said Mercy Aigbe. She now said, yes, what do you want? I said, Johnny, Uncle Yomi said he's coming to your set. And then I know you called me for this job. Your production manager called me, and then there was no follow-up call. What's up? And then she asked me, she said, where are you? I said, I'm on set in Ibadan filming. She said, oh, what I got permission, Koto Law. I'm like, permission, I don't understand. She said, well, if you want me to be calling you for my jobs, you have to be getting permission from me before you go to set. I'm like, actually, okay, really? I mean, I did 4 years of my life. I dedicated it to this craft. And then I had to be taking permission. She said, well, there's a form, you have to get the form. Yada, yada, yada. She was just saying a lot of things. You have to get the form, and then you fill it, and then henceforth, once you are under me, under my guidance, you can't go anywhere. I have to tell you who to work with, who not to work with, what to do. What. Don't miss out the fact that I said that this person is my friend, though. So you can only imagine how I felt, or how I was feeling listening to her say that. And then the next thing she said, anyway, if you cannot do all that, can you translate that in English?
The sky is big enough for all birds to fly.
The sky is big enough for birds to fly without touching each other. That's a direct translation. So, Cherry Caterpillar relayed me. It wasn't funny because I was just up and coming. I just came into the industry. I felt so bad. I cried. So your scars are going to come with disappointments, let down. People are going to disappoint you, misunderstand you. I cried. I was like, this person is my friend. If my friend cannot help me in the industry, then what else?
I can say your friend.
Summer. So, I cried. I felt so bad. I felt let down. I was discouraged. I was demoralized. But I found courage. And that's one thing that you need to be successful in this industry, courage. So I found that courage, and I kept going. I was like, hey, okay, no problem. I'll keep going. So there's a need for you to believe in yourself, believe in your journey. It's very important. I believed so much in myself. I kept going. It wasn't easy. Like I said, I have a lot of stories. I'm just sharing this. I kept going. I was going to auditions. I was giving my best. That same person we met on set several times after that encounter, and we're not talking for like 3 years. We didn't talk. But I kept going. If I get 2 scenes, I'll play those 2 scenes as if my life depended on it. You know why? Because I believe that somebody somewhere, a producer, a filmmaker would watch just that scene. You know how people check into the hotel and African Magic comes on. And when they sing and wow, this girl gave a performance. And lo and behold, 4 years later, green, my phone rang. And guess who called me? My friend called me. That person. She was like, hello, Messi Paoni. I said, hello, Tano Soro. And she said she was okay. She was not okay. Would you please properly introduce yourself? Else I'm gonna cut the phone. And she was like, what's my pin to do? Don't forget, almost 4 years after. And then she called me for a job. To God be the glory. She called me for a job. And I was very emotional, and I felt very proud of myself. I was like, okay, so you can actually call me for a job without me getting permission from you, without me being under your tutelage. And she said, she has to fast forward, she has called me for more than 3-4 jobs. But because
Did you believe that you have to start from scratch again when you came back? Did you think that you would come this far? I mean, even after everything you built. And I think you're also a cyber security expert, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So you went, achieved, came back, achieved, went back again. So tell us about that journey. In 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My journey is very funny, like you said. But I would say this. First off, I'll start by saying things that I've always said. If you want to win any race in life, never you mind opposition. Because the minute you start to mind that opposition, forget totally about winning that race. And this race can come in any form, shape, or size. Always put that on your right hand. Never, but don't eat with it. My story of me going and coming, I don't believe in opposition. I don't cry over spilling. I want to move on. The only thing I will do, look at where I fell, look at what needs to be done, and face my front. A lot of people don't know this about me. I'm not a very social person. I'm more of an introvert. I know she can testify to that. You don't see me so much in parties.
same here.
I use that time.
Please clap for her if you believe her. Please clap for her if you believe her.
I use that time and energy to do something differently. And that's why you call me a cybersecurity analyst, an IT auditor, a writer, or you call me an actor. I wear so many caps. And to the glory of God,
I think let's clap if we are going to clap for her.
my star to story, to shine, is so funny. I don't know if I've ever said this before, and if I have said it, I don't think I ever said it enough. I actually started acting so that when my children grow up, they would be able to, at least, I never thought of being a star, at least know where to find me. I am one woman that my children were taken from me when they were very young because I married into a very wealthy family. And I could not think I would become anything in this life. And here I am today.
Let's get a round of applause.
I came from a polygamous family. A lot of people would wonder, she's from Ife. But a lot of people know that I am from Ogun State, Abeokuta. I didn't get to know my father until I am grown. So it is a very, very, when you say scars, I had scars. But today, I am shining. Shining beautifully. That sometimes I wonder, Bukky, who are you? But alhamdulillah, this is Bukky Wright, sitting right here in front of you. And I know that I don't think there's any story anybody want to tell about me that I'm ashamed to tell myself. Because I will always tell people, if you do not tell your story yourself, they are going to tell it for you wrongly. So be courageous enough to tell your scars. yourself so that when it starts to heal, people can know where it actually hurts. Because they are not wearing your shoes, so they don't really know where it hurts. But to the glory of God, like I said, anytime I have a scar, I lock myself up and make sure that I come out with a shine. So that is the background of my story.
Thank you so much. So now we come to Allergic Corporate, as I used to call him, when we didn't know his name back then. I mean, we all knew him as Allergic Corporate before the industry was the industry. What was at the point you started, what was the story like? I mean, we all see Nollywood now and things that, oh, Nollywood is a glamorous place to be.